Hello and welcome to all of you from Bakul Foundation here to Storytime at 9. You just saw images of the Bakul Library in Bhubaneswar and images of a very popular program that we hosted here called Storytelling from Around the World, which started in 2008, in which we had storytellers from different countries coming and telling stories and children getting multicultural exposure through that. Now with COVID, the library is closed. Children cannot come to the library, but then we thought, why don't we bring this program back to children, to their homes on the digital screens? So that's the idea behind Storytime at 9, in which starting today, we'll go on for 50 weeks at least in the first season, in which there'll be 50 storytellers from 50 different countries. And we're beginning today with one of our very old volunteers, someone who did storytelling way back in 2008 at a library, Geraldine Garwood, Jerry as we call her. She was in India from 2007 to 9, and she'll talk about that when she also volunteered at Bakul. We're very happy to begin the series with Jerry. So Jerry, over to you. But just, I would like to tell all the viewers that after Jerry, what Jerry will be doing is not just tell you stories, but also introduce her country, England, to all of you. The idea, as I said, was multicultural exposure. And at the end of the storytelling and her session, we'll also have a question and answer session. So the idea is that you can ask questions to Jerry and she will be responding to your questions. So what you can do is you can wait till the session gets over to post your questions in the comment box, wherever you're seeing it on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter, or you could also start sharing your questions from now. And once the session is over, Jerry will take as many questions as she can in the time that we have. Jerry, over to you.
Hi, everyone. It is such a privilege and honor to be joining everybody today. As Sujit said, I lived in Bhubaneswar from 2007 to 9 and met Sujit and volunteered at the library and had an amazing time. I've been asked to share a little bit about England, so I have some pictures because I thought it brings it to life when you've got pictures. So I've got some pictures to share with you. I'm going to share my screen now. Okay. Just give me one sec. So this is England. England is the green country here. And with Wales, Scotland and Northern Ireland, it makes up the United Kingdom or Great Britain. So this is England in the whole world. Quite a small country, and it fits into India 13 times because India is a big country. So these are the flags. The flag on the right, the red cross, is the English flag, and it is part of the British flag, which is the one on the left. So an interesting fact about England, we are addicted to tea, and more than 165 million cups of tea in England are drank every day. That is an incredible number. So this is kind of old-fashioned England, really, little cottages with thatched roofs. This is how lots of people see England in villages. But nowadays, 85% of people live in cities, and 25% of people who live in England are from different places. So it is a very multicultural country. The rolling hills of England, this is kind of how the countryside of England looks. It's very green because we have lots of rain here, and rain. And all throughout the year, really. We have 4 seasons: summertime, as it is now, wintertime, and then autumn and springtime. We have lots of farmland within the countryside as well. And the other thing that makes up England is lots of woodlands and forests. In fact, England used to be all completely covered in forests until it was people started living and cutting it down to make way for cities. This is London. This is the capital of England. And I wonder if you can think of things that London is famous for. Probably red buses and black taxis. This is Buckingham Palace, where Queen Elizabeth II lives. She is the longest reigning monarch, and this is where she lives. This is in central London. So that's a little bit about England. I'm going to stop sharing my page now. Okay. So that's England, and I live in London, and I'm in my garden now because it's summertime and it's nice and warm outside. Some of you might have heard of the Gruffalo story. This is Room on the Broom, and it's by Julia Donaldson, who wrote the Gruffalo. So I thought I would read this book to you today. This is a famous story of hers, and there's a little film of it, and it's also a stage show in London. This is The Room on the Broom. The witch had a cat, and a very tall hat, and a long ginger hair that she wore in a plait. How the cat purred and how the witch grinned as they sat on the broomstick and flew through the wind. But how the witch wailed and how the cat spat. As the wind blew so wildly, it blew off her hat. Down, cried the witch, and they flew to the ground. They searched for the hat, but no hat could be found. Then out of the bushes on thundering paws there bounded a dog with hat in its jaws.
But where's the children?
He dropped it politely and bent his head low.
Where's the children?
They're watching online. That is my little girl, Amelia. Here we go. He dropped it politely, then eagerly said, as the witch pulled the hat firmly down on her head, I am a dog, as keen as can be. Is there room on the broom for a dog like me? Yes, cried the witch, and the dog clambered on. The witch tapped her broomstick, and whoosh, they were gone. Over the fields and forests they flew. The dog wagged its tail, and the stormy winds blew. The witch laughed aloud, ha 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 ha, and held on to her hat. But away blew the bow from her long ginger plait. Whee! Down, cried the witch, and they flew to the ground. They searched for the bow, but no bow could be found. Then out from a tree with an ear-splitting shriek, there flapped a green bird with a bow for a beak. She dropped it politely and bent her head low, then said, as the witch tied her plait in a bow, I am a bird as green as can be. Is there room on the broom for a bird like me? Yes, cried the witch. So the bird fluttered on. The witch tapped her broomstick, and whoosh, they were gone. Over the reeds and the rivers they flew. The bird shrieked with glee, and the stormy winds blew. They shot through the sky to the back of beyond. The witch clutched her bow, but let go of her wand. Down, cried the witch, and they flew to the ground. They searched for the wand, but no wand could be found. Then all of a sudden, from out of a pond, leapt a dripping wet frog with a dripping wet wand. He dropped it politely, then said with a croak, as the witch dried her wand with a fold of her cloak, I am a frog, as clean as can be. Is there room on the broom for a frog like me? Yes, said the witch, and the frog bounded on. The witch tapped her broomstick, and whoosh, they were gone. Over the moors and the mountains they flew. The frog jumped with joy, and what happened?
That breaks in two.
Yeah, the broom snapped in two. Down fell the cat and the dog and the frog. Down they went, tumbling into a bog. The witch's half broomstick flew into a cloud, and the witch heard a roar that was scary and loud. I am a dragon as mean as can be, and I'm planning to have witch and chips for my tea. No! Cried the witch, flying higher and higher. The dragon flew after her, breathing out fire. Help! Cried the witch, flying down to the ground. She looked all around, but no help could be found. The dragon drew nearer, licking his lips, and said, maybe this once I'll have witch without chips. But just as he planned to begin on his feast, from out of the ditch rose a horrible beast. It was tall, dark, and sticky, and feathered and furred. It had 4 frightful heads and the wings of a bird. And its terrible voice, when it started to speak, was a yowl and a growl and a croak and a shriek. It dripped and it squelched as it strode from the ditch, and it said to the dragon, "Buzz off!"
That's my way.
Well done. The dragon drew back and started to shake. I'm sorry, he spluttered. Oh, I made a mistake. It's nice to have met you, but now I must fly. And he spread out his wings and was off through the sky.
Sorry.
Down flew the bird, and down jumped the frog. Down climbed the cat, and phew, said the dog. And thank you, oh thankful you, the grateful witch cried. Without you, I'd be on that dragon's inside. Then she filled up her cauldron and said with a grin, "Find something, everyone, throw something in." So the frog found a lily, and the cat found a comb, the bird found a twig, and the dog found a bone. They threw them all in, and the witch stirred them well. And while she was stirring, she muttered a spell.
Ziggity, zaggity, zoom.
And out rose,
The touring magazine room.
with a seat for the witch and the cat and the dog, a nest for the bird, and a shower for the frog. Yes, cried the witch, and they all clambered on. The witch tapped her broomstick, and whoosh, they were gone. Can you see the shower the frog's got?
The frog got.
Yeah. So that was Room on the Broom by Julia Donaldson, illustrated by Alex Scheffler. We've probably got time for another one. This is another of my favourite books. It's called Oi Frog, and it's by Kes Gray and Jim Field. Okay. Oi, frog! Sit on a log, said the cat. But I don't want to sit on a log, said the frog. Logs are like knobbly and uncomfortable, and they give you splinters in your bottom. I don't care, said the cat. You are a frog, and you must sit on a log.
What?
But, can't I sit on a mat? Asked the frog. Only cats sit on mats, said the cat. Well, what about a chair? Said the frog. I wouldn't mind sitting on a chair. Hares sit on chairs, said the cat. Well, perhaps I could sit on a stool, said the frog. Mules sit on stools, said the cat. But what about a sofa? I could stretch right out on a sofa. Gophers sit on sofas, said the cat. It's really very simple. Cats sit on mats, hares sit on chairs, mules sit on stools, gophers sit on sofas, and frogs sit on logs. What do lions sit on? Asked the frog. Lions sit on irons. Ouch, said the frog. Well, what do parrots sit on? Parrots sit on carrots. Lions sit on irons and parrots sit on carrots. Well, that doesn't sound very comfortable to me, said the frog. It's not about being comfortable, said the cat. It's about doing the right thing. What do foxes sit on? Asked the frog. Foxes sit on boxes. Foxes sit on boxes and fleas sit on peas. What do goats sit on? Goats sit on coats, cows sit on ploughs, and storks sit on forks. Oh, very funny. What do gorillas sit on? Asked the frog. Gorillas sit on pillars, asked the cat. Rats sit on hats. Weasels sit on easels. And moles sit on poles. What do seals sit on? Asked the frog. Don't you know anything? Said the cat. Seals sit on wheels. Doves sit on gloves. Newts sit on flutes. Lizards sit on wizards. And apes sit on grapes. At least he's got a snack. What about puffins? Asked the frog. Puffins sit on muffins. Snakes sit on cakes. Owls sit on towels. Lambs sit on jams. Bees sit on keys. And pumas sit on satsumas. Well, I never knew that, said the frog. Well, you do now, said the cat. What do dogs sit on? Asked the frog. Well, said the cat, I was hoping you weren't going to ask that. Help! Said the frog. So there are two stories that I had. Sujit, do we have time for another one?
Yes, we can.
We can?
Yeah.
This is another story by Julia Donaldson. It's called Charlie Cook's Favourite Book. Are you going to sit there? Once upon a time, there was a boy called Charlie Cook who curled up in a chair and read his favourite book. There he is in his chair reading his favourite book. It was about a leaky pirate ship which very nearly sank, and a pirate chief who got the blame and had to walk the plank. The chief swam to an island and went digging with his hook. At last he found a treasure chest, and in it was a book. About a girl called Goldilocks and 3 indignant bears who cried, "Who's had our porridge? Who's been sitting on our chairs?" They went into the bedroom and Baby Bear said, "Oh, look! She's in my bed, and what's more, she's got my favourite book." About Sir Percy Pinkleton, a bold and fearless knight, who told the dragon, "Oh, wait just a second. I'm not quite ready for this fight. You must first hear this one." And then his armour clanked and shook as he read aloud his favourite joke inside his favourite book. About Rowena Redalot, a very well-read frog who jumped upon a lily pad, then jumped upon a frog, then jumped into a library which stood beside a brook, and went read it, as he jumped upon a book. About an oak tree full of birds. Each bird had built a nest. They decided to have a competition to see which one was best. They chose an owl to judge it, and the winner was a rook, whose nest was lined with pages from his very favourite book. About a girl who saw a flying saucer in the sky, and some little green men were in it, and they waved to her as they flew by. She tugged her mother's sleeve and said, "Look, Mum, what I've just seen." But Mum said, "Hush, hush, I'm trying to read my favourite magazine." About a wicked jewel thief who stole the king's best crown, but then got stuck behind some sheep, which slowed his car right down. The king dialed 999, and soon the cops had caught the crook and flung him into prison, where he read his favourite book. About a greedy crocodile who got fed up with fish and went on the land to try to find some other kind of dish. He went into the library and he grew even greedier while reading on page 90 of a large encyclopedia. About the biggest birthday cake the world had ever seen. A team of royal cake makers had made it for the Queen. The cake was so delicious that a famous spaceman took a slice of it to Jupiter. He also took the book. About a ghost who glided round a castle every night, carrying her head and giving everyone a fright. She kept it up till morning, then she found a shady nook and put her head back on again and read her favourite book. About a cosy armchair and a boy called Charlie Cook. I hope you enjoyed those stories. What's our time? There are some English stories from modern writers. I think you would have heard other ones like Pooh Bear and Paddington, so I tried to choose some more modern ones for you to listen to today. I hope you enjoyed them. Reading books is just lovely, and it's so relaxing and interesting. You learn lots of things, so reading books is a great pastime.
Well, thank you very much, Jerry. Love the stories. For all the viewers here, and we have quite a few of them. Jerry was talking about Julia Donaldson. She read out 2 stories by Julia. This is the book that she was talking about. Julia is more famous as the author of the Gruffalo, that many of you might have heard the story. This book is there in the Buckle Library. There's also another story, if you've not read, Gruffalo's Child. Okay, so Jerry was thinking about the Gruffalo, but then I told her that many children might have already heard the story. Yes, this is another book, The Princess and the Wizard by Julia Donaldson. We have at the library another one as well. In fact, it's very interesting that Jerry ended the last story that she told was about a favorite book. So we'll of course have a question and answer session now, and I hope you are typing in your questions in the comment boxes in Facebook or YouTube or Twitter, wherever you are listening in, and we'll take those questions. But just to remember, and I'll repeat this later, the task for you after this session is over is please share a photo of yours with your favorite book. Or any book that you're reading right now, please share that. And if you happen to have, wow, I love the hat. If you happen to have any of the books from which Jerry shared her stories, any of the 3 stories, if you have the book, definitely share a photo of yourself while you with that particular book. And if you have that, then maybe there's a surprise gift waiting for you from Bakul. If you happen to post a photo of yourself with one of the books, but within 24 hours, we won't give you time to go buy the book and then take the photo. Right? Okay. Yes.
I think it needs a hashtag.
Can we just have questions, Jerry, now? There are some questions that have already come in. And the first question is from Dilip. He wants to know the name of your daughter.
Dilip, hi. This is Amelia. She's 4 years old. And this is Oriana, and she's almost 2. You gonna say hi?
So was it Oriana that we were hearing?
Probably. I think there's also some children next door playing.
So is her name Oriana because you have love for Orissa? That's my question.
It's actually an Italian name, but we just liked it. It was a bit unusual.
So Satya Swarup is asking if Mr. Bean stays in London.
Oh, does Mr. Bean live in London? I think he probably does. Yeah.
Does he? Okay.
I think they're set in London. Yeah, we think they're set in London.
Okay. So Shagufa is asking, what was your first impression of India and how did it change?
Oh, that is such a good question. That's a great question. Gosh, busy and noisy and just amazing and colourful and that that didn't really change because it is like that, but I just became accustomed to it and it became my home when I was there. I'd also like to shout out to all my friends who are watching. I won't name them because I'll forget somebody, but I hope you're watching. I think of you.
So you talked about the English love for tea. So Pintu is asking, how many times a day do you drink tea?
Personally, I probably have 1 or 2 cups of tea a day.
And is that with milk or without milk? I just added that.
So I take tea with milk. Some people take it black. Some people have sugar. I don't have sugar. But I know chai. I'm a big fan of chai though, which is
masala chai.
Yeah, your Indian chai. I love it. I drank so much of that when I was in India.
Okay. So Jasmita is asking, for us in India, of course, cricket is a religion, right? And we got it from England. But then we see that the English probably love the soccer more. So what do you follow? Soccer or cricket or neither?
Oh, I would have to say, we call it football. I would have to say football more than cricket.
Sorry.
Yeah, so the most favourite sports are soccer, football, rugby, and golf and cricket. So they're the 4 favourite sports in England. When I was doing my research, I found that out.
Okay. So Swastik is asking if you are punished for littering the roads in London.
So that's a good question. I think it's against the law, but unless you were doing a lot, I don't think you'd get punished for it. But it is against the law.
Preeti Moy. Yeah, sorry. Go on, go on.
No. I was gonna say it's like there's not much rubbish around though. Like it gets.
So Preeti Moy just pointed out, she observed that the animals were sitting on rhyming objects.
Yes.
So she wanted to know if she was correct.
Oh yes, that's the reason for the story, isn't it? Because at the end, the frog goes, "Oh, but what do dogs sit on?" And because dog rhymes with frog, the dog was sitting on the frog, and it squashed him. So that was it. That was why. Like the cat was like, "Oh no, I didn't want you to ask that because if you do ask it, you're going to get sucked on by a dog." Oh.
Right. So Sabita is asking, which Bollywood film did you like the most? Do you remember any Bollywood song or dance numbers? Can you sing some lines?
Oh gosh, no.
I remember the song you used to sing. Welcome, tang 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 tang. Remember that?
Yeah, I
Welcome,
do.
because it had the English word.
Yeah, I can't remember any specifically. There was the one, was it called Fire? I don't think it was a Bollywood film, but it was an Indian film. I love that film. That's a great film.
Okay. Mithi is asking, where were you born?
I was born in London, and I grew up in London, in North London, and then I have lived at different places. So I've lived in Canada for a little bit, and India for a couple of years. So yeah, and then different places in England. I went to university in Coventry, which is in the middle of the country, and then came back to work in London.
She's also asking, since you're in London, have you met the Queen?
Oh, unfortunately, I haven't. No, nobody gets to meet the Queen unless you do like something really special and get specially invited. So unfortunately,
So Mrinal is asking, do you find anything common between London and Bhubaneswar?
Common
Apart from
thing.
awesome people. Apart from awesome people.
Awesome people, obviously awesome people. Oh, that's a really tricky question. Common things. I guess a love of curry, really. Like English people love curry. Every high street has somewhere where you can buy curry. What else? Love of food in general. I think English people love food. There's lots of different types of restaurants from all over the world. Common things. I can't think of anything else. Oh, I'm sure there are lots of things, but yeah.
Is the chicken tikka masala still the national food of England?
Probably that, and fish and chips and roast dinners and good stuff like that.
and now that you're married to someone who is of Punjabi origin,
yep.
So do you have a lot of chicken tikka masala at home?
Oh, I think the curry we cook is probably a bit more authentic because his dad is Indian, so he's taught him how to cook lots of Indian food. So we probably eat more traditional Indian food, really. Paneer and yeah.
You remember any Odia food that you had?
Yes. Dal and rice and lots of dishes like that.
The dalma?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know that Orissa was at war with Bengal over the Rasgulla?
Really?
Yeah. Okay. So we have Jasmeet asking, which is your favorite place in India?
Oh, Bhubaneswar. Without a doubt. I didn't even have to think about it. It's amazing.
So what do you like about Bhubaneswar?
Oh, well, I have lots of friends there. And when I lived there, I really enjoyed kind of getting to know the culture and going to the markets. And, I don't know what they're called, but where I lived, they had a little market. I used to get the
BBA market? The BBA market.
I think so, yeah. And they had like the potato inside, the curried potato inside, and they were like deep fried. I don't know what they're called, but that's amazing. And the jalebi, they're great too. Oh, and pani puri, they're good.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Pallavi is asking if you've read any Oriya story. Have you read any Oriya story or heard any Oriya story?
I did when I was there. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I can't think of what they're called now. The names of them.
So Poo Hota is asking about the countryside in London. How is it like there?
Do you mean in England?
Yeah.
So the countryside in England, I showed some pictures of it. So it's mainly like rolling hills, very green, and lots of fields of like farmland where things would grow like wheat or corn, and then animals would graze like sheep and cows for cattle and things. So farmland, rolling hills, and woodland. That's the main countryside in England. In London, in cities, there would be parks, which would be green grass with some like trees and things. But in the cities, it's mainly urbanized. So it'll be lots of buildings and houses and shops and all other buildings like that. So.
Okay. Minnie Philip wants to know the name of your favorite Indian actor.
Oh gosh, you're putting me on the spot. I can't think.
Not Shah Rukh Khan, right? Not Shah Rukh Khan.
No. Too popular. No. What was the name of the boy in the film? The one that was Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? What was that called? That film. The boy in that was really good. I can't remember. You know the film I mean?
Not really. Anyway. So Ajit Das is asking your favorite Indian book. Do you have a favorite Indian book?
Oh, I don't think I do.
Travel or Indian English fiction? I think you've read quite a bit.
I read a little, yeah, but I can't think of my favorite one. Oh, that's not a very good answer, is it?
That's okay. It's been a long time.
Yes.
Lalita is asking, have you been to Puri? Any memories of Puri?
Oh yeah, I love Puri. Just a lovely seaside place. Yeah, we used to stay in a little hostel there when we went, and really enjoyed some like kind of just relaxing time by the sea there. Yeah. Oh, and we went to what's the festival that they have there. I went to that. What was it called?
Sorry,
Puri,
the Jagannath
festival.
Temple or the Rath Yatra?
So say that again. I couldn't hear.
Rath Yatra, the car festival.
Yeah, that was good.
And the film that you're talking about, is it the Slumdog Millionaire you're talking about?
Yes, that one. Yes. Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Thank you. I know you would know.
Okay. Satyabrata Tripathi is asking if you know Oriya and if you could speak a bit Oriya.
Mona Jerry, namaste.
Great. I have to tell this story. So once Jerry and I were at a meeting of NGOs, and Jerry introduced herself saying in Oriya, saying Mona Geraldine Garwood, and everyone looked at me and said, "Can you please translate?" I said, "She spoke in Oriya." So anyway.
My accent was so bad they couldn't understand me.
Right. And do you remember any Hindi? Would you like to share some Hindi as well?
I didn't learn Hindi. I only learned Oriya because I was living in Orissa, so I didn't learn any Hindi.
Okay. So Rupal is asking if you ever wore a sari and did you enjoy it?
Oh, I love saris. I wore salwar kameez most of the time when I was there, and saris sometimes. Yep, I love it. They're just really lovely. It just feels really nice wearing them. Yeah.
Do you still wear them at parties, some Indian parties in England?
Yeah, I would do. Yeah, I've got them. I brought them back with me.
Okay. Now, two of them have the same question. Sheila and Pratyush are talking about your memory of Bakul. Asking you about your memory of Bakul.
Oh gosh, so many memories with Bakul. We did, myself and Sujit and lots of other volunteers set up a summer camp where in the school that I was working for disabled children, OLS. That was some amazing memories setting that up. And it was in the summertime and it was so hot. Just remember just being so hot doing those. But they were brilliant and we did loads of activities with the children there that wouldn't have had much to do otherwise. So that was great. And then we worked on the refugee camp. We did activities for the children who were fleeing from some of the rural areas. So we did that, didn't we, Sujit?
Just to give a context to people, so Jerry is talking about the 2008 Kandhamal riots, and there were hundreds of people who had fled from their villages in Kandhamal, and they were in a refugee camp here in Bhubaneswar, where we ran a library and did sessions with them. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
So, Durga wants to know, what kind of books do you like to read?
Ooh, I like to read novels. I like to read novels like kind of adventure and action ones. I love a book that that's really exciting and I can't put it down, and I'm in bed reading until 1 o'clock in the morning because it's just so exciting and I just want to know what happens next. I love books like that. They're brilliant. Yeah.
So Ravi is asking if there's any book that you would recommend to a teenager.
Oh, a teenager. Ooh, well, the Harry Potter books are great, but they're probably maybe more early teens. It depends how old you are. Otherwise, I don't really know of any teenage books. I know more about children's books. Yeah, I can't really. I'm sorry, that's sorry. I can't really think of any teenage books.
Sure. Henry wants to know if you've read Ruskin Bond.
No, I haven't.
Okay. Anurag is asking if you've visited the Konark Temple and what's your impression of the Konark Temple?
So, just remind me, the Konark Temple is the one with all the like carvings of people in it, isn't it? Yeah, amazing. I loved that. That was brilliant. Yeah, just so interesting how the intricacies of all of the like the stonework. It's beautiful. Yeah.
Sabita wants to know what's your favorite Indian festival?
Oh, Durga Puja in Kolkata. I visited that. That was brilliant, and we went around lots of different temples, and they like have they set up all these scenes, and you can go and look at them. That was brilliant.
You remember the Holi that we had?
Oh, of Holi, of course. Holi, brilliant too. Yeah.
Yeah. So Siddharth Anil Kumar is asking, who's your favorite English actor?
Ooh, favorite English actor. Oh, that's a good question. Oh, I don't know. Oh, I can't think of anyone specifically. I love the James Bond's actors are always really good, aren't they? They get good actors doing them.
So, sorry. Sudhir wants to know the most popular heritage site in London.
Heritage site in London? Well, there's the Tower of London where lots of people got their heads chopped off, which are obviously not now. That's a heritage site, I guess. What other popular... Ollie, help me out with this one. Popular heritage sites in London. Oh, yeah, there's the Shakespeare's Globe Theatre, which is a rendition, so it's a modern building, but exactly how the original Globe Theatre would have been, where Shakespeare's plays would have been set. And it's an open-air theatre, just as it would have been, with like a little thatched roof around the edge bits, and it's round. So that's another interesting place. There's all the bridges in London, Tower Bridge. They're quite famously London, maybe not less heritage. And then Buckingham Palace and places like that, which I believe is one of the oldest residences that is still used by monarchs now. Oh,
So is
Stonehenge.
it true? I think I heard that the Globe probably closed down because of when COVID in the last few months.
Yeah. All theatres haven't opened yet. I think they're opening soon. Theatres and cinemas, they're still closed at the moment.
Yeah. So Prayash is asking, do they teach Shakespeare in the schools to children?
Yeah, we learn Shakespeare in secondary school. So secondary schools are 12 to 16. And then if you choose to do English literature after that, you would study more Shakespeare after that. But it's always taught. Yeah.
So Gopal Manjari is asking, what's the time right now in London?
The time now is 16 minutes past 5 in the afternoon.
And Mitali is asking, how many hours did you study as a kid? I think she's worried about the pressure on her.
Oh, bless you. Yeah, exams have lots of pressures, don't they? I think you just need to do as much as you can, but not so much that you're just not doing anything else. I think it's really important to have a balance in your life, to do like lots of exercise as well as studying, and have a lovely balance between that and seeing friends and doing things that make you happy is really important as well.
Jay Prakash is asking, you have lots of questions coming for you. Huh? Jay Prakash is asking about your experience of COVID in England, and how has it impacted your work since you work with special children? Has it become more difficult for them? How is it like?
So the end of March, so through January, February, the cases of COVID were increasing. And then about mid-March, lockdown happened, and we had about, I think, 1 or 2 days. I think it was a day to like stop everything and just stay in your house. So then we had to stay in our houses for 3 months. We were only allowed out once a day for exercise and to get food, and that was it. Otherwise we had to stay in our house, so we couldn't see anybody or do anything else. In that time, I work in a school for children who have visual impairment and additional needs. So, for example, a disability like cerebral palsy or autism. So we wanted to continue to support our families in a very difficult time. So we set up meetings over the internet, like using Zoom and things. So just like this, continuing to work with our families and young people we're working with. So we continued that. Yeah.
Okay.
So was that all the questions in one? Was that? And so now things are starting to open up again, and we can go out and the shops are open again. We have to wear face coverings when we're in enclosed spaces. So in shops, you have to wear a face covering. Religious worship places and cinemas, I think, are going to open soon, but you all have to wear a face covering then. But we're slowing it down because rates of the virus are peaking in Europe. So our government is concerned about that. So they're slowing down how things are opening up.
Okay. So Sapna Baid is asking, have you read Akbar Birbal stories? And there was another question from Shatabdi. If you remember any stories from, no, not the Shatabdi, another Shatabdi. Yeah. Okay. About if there are any stories from Indian folklore like Panchatantra, any fables, Indian fables that you remember?
Oh, I don't, to be honest, I don't. Sorry, that is my girl shouting now. I don't really remember any fables like that. Yeah,
we have to help you with Indian folk tales for your daughters. Yeah,
absolutely. So I'll be watching when is the one? I'll be watching the India storytelling time in a few weeks.
15th August.
Yeah, I will be there
watching. We got independent from England.
Sorry?
The day we got independent from England.
Absolutely, good. Yes, I'll be celebrate independence with you all.
Subhash is asking if you like horror stories.
Oh, I'm not a big fan of horror stories at all. No, I prefer things that make me feel like nice and good, and I don't want to feel scared.
A lot of questions about books, about your reading. Uh, Alice is asking if you read out books to your children.
Oh yes, yes. We read books every day. All of the books that we just read, and we go to the library and get books. So we have like different books that we can read. But they love books. Yeah. So we do read lots of books.
Okay. Pritish has asked if you read Three Men in a Boat.
Three Men in a Boat.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
A long time back.
Yeah, I'm not sure. No, I don't think I have. I'm not doing very well with these questions. I'm sorry, everybody.
No, not at all, not at all. Adyant is asking if you read biographies or autobiographies, and is there any biography or autobiography that you really like?
So I haven't, to be honest, I don't think I've read any autobiographies or biographies. I prefer like novels, so I spend time reading novels, or I do a lot of reading for my work as well. So that's like scientific, therapeutic stuff. So I haven't, to be honest. If you have any suggestions, I would love to read one though.
Okay. Anvesha is asking, what's the most famous festival in England?
Well, Christmas is the most famous celebration, I would say, in December. Is that a festival? I'm not really sure if it's a festival. Is that kind of what it's meant?
Yeah. And do a lot of people still go to church now in England, or it's kind of reduced?
It is reducing. It has reduced. I think from what I know about it, people coming in from different places. So people come in from lots of African countries, and they set up churches as well. So there are lots of churches being built, I guess. And so some people still go to church. I go to church. Yeah. So we're still a Christian country, but there are lots of other. It's very multi-faith country as well. All religions are respected and valued.
So a lot of questions are coming about your favorite Harry Potter character. Jasmine and others asking about your favorite Harry Potter character.
Oh gosh, that's so hard. So I like Hermione. I think she's a good, strong female character. We need more strong female characters in stories. And she's very bright, so she's good. Dumbledore is wonderful, isn't he? Hagrid, you gotta love Hagrid. Yeah, they're probably my three favorite ones.
Do you love the experience of storytelling? Do you do that often? I forget who had asked that question. Lopamudra is also asking if you have a favorite storyteller.
So storytelling in itself isn't as big in England, I think, as it probably is in India in terms of people being storytellers. It's more unusual in England, I think, in terms of, that kind of fables and folklore way. Does that make sense, Sujit?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But your experience of storytelling, do you like telling stories?
Yes, I personally love it. I love telling stories, which is one reason why I was so excited that Sujit had asked me to do one of these sessions. So I do a lot of storytelling. I do lots of voices to my girls. I was a bit nervous, but I tried to do lots of voices in my stories. And I also do, there are some books that have songs in, and if they have songs in, then I will sing those bits and make up songs in stories.
Can we hear one of them? Can we hear a little song?
Can you shall I go get a book? What book is it? I can go get a really short book that I sing.
Okay. Or we'll keep that for later, I think.
That's fine.
This last couple of questions. There are a couple of questions by Lakshmi Priya and Trupti, I think, about your favorite Indian cricketer.
Oh, you know what? We did. I went to see England play India in, where was it? Somewhere just outside Bhubaneswar. What's that?
Katak.
Yes, so I saw them play there. But to be honest, I can't remember their names or any of their. I don't really follow cricket, so we just went to have an amazing day, which was brilliant. But I'm
The
sorry,
food
I
was
can't.
good?
Sorry?
The food was good outside the cricket stadium? The pani puri,
Oh
the dahi
yeah,
bhai. So that's
love
what
all
you
that.
remember. Okay, right. So the last question is a very interesting question. There are, of course, other questions, but we won't be able to take them. Rekha is asking if you remember the first story that you had read.
The first story I read would probably be. Oh, I tell you what, I do have a good story about a book I remember. One of the earliest books I remember. It's a book called Geraldine and the Music Mice. So my name is quite unusual in England, so it's not a common name. And I had a teacher called Mrs. Dean when I must have been about maybe 6, and or 5 even. And I was always disappointed because my name would never be anywhere, really. I would never see it anywhere. Nobody else was called my name. And then she brought this book out at carpet time, at story time. And all the children sat down and she read this book called Geraldine and the Music Mice. I was so excited because it was my name in a book. So I have really lovely memories of that, of like story time at school.
Thank you very much, Jerry. It was great. And there's been a lot of questions. There are, of course, more questions that I don't think we'll have time right now to handle, but there are a few questions asking about where do they post the comments and share the photos. So if you're on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter, wherever you're seeing this, there's a comments box below that. So please share, your comments of on this experience today, what you liked or didn't like, or what could have been better. You can share there. You can also share, as I said, a photo of you with your favorite book or a book that you're reading now. Please share that. And as I said, if it'll be good for Jerry to know, because see, unfortunately, what happened is you guys could see me, you could see Jerry, but neither of us could see you. And I think we would like to see you through the books that you read, just the way you got to know Jerry through the books that she loves to read out to her children and which she read out today to all of you. So please share a photo of you with the favorite book there in the comments box. And as I said, if it happens to be one of the books that Jerry talked about or told from, a surprise, we'll reach out to you with a surprise gift. So that's there. So do not forget to like, share and this video and subscribe to Bakul Foundation on Facebook, YouTube and Twitter, or any of them would do more the merrier. And when you're commenting or talking about this experience, please use hashtag Storytime@9, which you find in the poster, and hashtag Bakul Foundation. So we'll be able to, track you, and it'll be good for us to know. The last thing that I would like to end with is that, as you know, the storytelling will happen every week, same day, same time. Next week we'll be back, and the storyteller is from a country I would like you to guess from this clue. There's a nursery rhyme which was popular in this country at the time of the Spanish flu. I want you to guess the country. The nursery rhyme went like this. I had a little bird. Its name was Enza. I opened the window and in flew Enza. You have to guess which country was this nursery rhyme popular in. Our storyteller next week is from that particular country. So that's it. Jerry, no answering right now, no prompting.
None. No clues for me.
Okay. So thank you very much, all of you. I hope you had a great time. I hope, Jerry, you had a great time as well. So
I loved it. Thank you so much. It's been a lovely experience sharing stories with you. And I look forward to seeing all your photos as well.
Wonderful. And if there's anything in the story that you could not follow that you would like to ask also, please again ask your questions in the comments box. We'll be happy, Jerry or I will be happy to get back to you on that. So thank you very much. Bye for now. See you. And there's a little short film if you want. You can see 2 minutes that our volunteers are going to play for you. That will introduce Bakul. If you want to know about Bakul, that short film will tell you a little. Thank you. Bye.